Mr. President, while reading through and attempting to understand the Building Bridges Initiative report, two things stood out for me. One being the lip service that this report has paid to matters concerning youth and especially on inclusivity of young people in decision-making bodies. And two being the frequent reference to the 2010 Constitution of Kenya and in particular Article 43. While presiding over the fourth graduation at Kibabi University, you called upon young people to challenge their leaders intellectually, and today this is me answering to that call. Back on Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya, let me just show you how the bodies mandated with governing and implementing the 6 fundamental rights guaranteed under these articles have violated these rights. Under health, we have the Mafia House scandal and the NHIF scandal. Under accessible and adequate housing, we have the Karen land saga and the Ruaraka land scandal. Under adequate food of acceptable quality, we have the NCPB maize scandal, Galana Kulalu irrigation scheme, the white and the red alert as was shown to us on national television. Under clean and safe water, we have the recent Aror and Kimorel Dam scandal. And if we were to probe enough, I am sure Nairobi Water Company wouldn't be far off. Under social security, we have NSSF Hazina House scandal, NYS1, NYS2, and the Youth Enterprise Development Fund scandal. Under education, we have the laptop tender scandal and the Green Public Schools scandal. Sir, your recent statements, such as you do not understand why Kenyans are broke, are a clear indication that your cabinet is not in line with Article 153 Part 2, which requires their accountability and responsibilities of performance of their functions, and Article 153 Part 4 that requires these cabinet secretaries to act in accordance with this constitution. Does this lack of a sense of responsibility and accountability amount to a violation of Article 152 Part 4A that states each person appointed as cabinet secretary assumes office by swearing or affirming faithfulness to the people and the Republic of Kenya and obedience to this constitution before the president and in accordance with the third schedule? Are these violations ground enough for you, Mr. President, to act according to Article 152, Part 5, Paragraph B, that states the President may dismiss a Cabinet Secretary, and Paragraph C, the President shall dismiss a Cabinet Secretary if required to do so by a resolution adopted under Clauses 6 to 10. Mr. President, does your hesitation to act then mean that you are in violation of this constitution, since you have failed to act in accordance to Article 129 Part 2 that states executive authority shall be exercised in a manner compatible with the principle of service to the people of Kenya and for their well-being and benefit? Sir, do you now understand why you are the only problem that we have in Kenya? How then do we trust you to implement the Mighty Building Bridges Initiative report, which heavily relies on the Constitution, where you have clearly failed to implement the Constitution, which according to Article 2, Part 1 states that this Constitution is the supreme law of the Republic and binds all persons and state organs at both levels of government. Kenyans are yet to give their views on their BBI report for rectification, yet the leadership is already divided on whether we shall go the parliament way or the referendum way. What about our opinion? Where do we take our opinions to, since you told us to read this BBI report and air our opinions? To whom do we air these opinions out to? Mr. President, let me kindly remind you of Article 1 of this Constitution, Part 2, which states the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives, and our democratically elected representatives are not representing us. Is it time then, Mr. President, for the people to exercise their sovereign power directly? Mr. President, are you unable to carry out your constitutional duties? I and other Kenyans will like answers to these questions. Mr. President, consider yourself effectively